Good morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning. I'm in Springville, Utah, and headed into Starbucks to check my email, do some video editing, a little bit of work, and then today I'm going to be heading south to southern Utah area, and I haven't quite decided where I'm going to stop. Maybe Moab. Going to go check out the weather and see what the accommodations are like down there. But hopefully I'll get a little bit further south where it's not quite so cold. It's pretty cold up here. We have a pretty spectacular morning here with clouds off in the distance. Beautiful sunrise happening over there, sort of under the clouds, and the mountains with the snow cap. Clouds just grazing the tops. It's a gorgeous morning, but pretty cold. I'm gonna go in and get some coffee and get warmed up. Finished at Starbucks, did my client work. Another video has been uploaded. It's raining out. Got to go find some fuel and get on the road. It's looking pretty cold. I'm headed to Moab today. It's going to be pretty cold tonight, probably around freezing, so not looking forward to that, but I don't see any places before or after that that even have better weather, so I'm just going to head that way. I don't know, may end up having to continue on. Just have to see how the day unfolds. I just filled up with diesel. Actually, I'm pretty pleased with how this is going. My last two fills, I'm getting 15 miles per gallon, and this one I'm getting a little bit over 16 miles per gallon with diesel. So I'm super pleased with this. That's traveling between 50 and 55, a little bit slow on the freeway, but I think with the big flat surface here, it makes a big difference to drop my speed a little bit, and just getting fantastic mileage. And this is all going up hills. This is like through the Blue Mountains and climbing into the Rockies. So that's pretty impressive. I think on flat ground I'll probably be getting over 17 once I get into Texas. So just ecstatic with the fuel economy that I'm getting in this vehicle, and the power is just phenomenal. Everything's running fabulous, engine's running fabulous. Everything is just really great in this step van. I'm loving every minute of it. It's still a little bit loud. I'm driving with earplugs, but I think once I get the build out down in the back and I create a partition between the driver's space and the back end, it'll be much easier to drive and much more comfortable as far as acoustics go. I'm going to hit the road. It's raining, and driving for today for about 4 hours. It's not a good sign. I'm starting to get snow. I don't have any heat here in my van, and there's snow ahead. These windmills look quite beautiful though. Moab, Utah. I've decided not to spend the night here. Instead, just continue on and try to get to New Mexico. I'm in a small city named Cortez right now, on my way headed south, trying to make it into Farmington, New Mexico. And I may have discovered the cause of my parasitic voltage drain on the batteries, at least a major cause. And I'm putting things together the last couple hours. So here's what I figured out. When I left the Portland area at my sister's house, I had about 12.5 volts on the voltmeter from the battery, so that's a little bit low. And during the week that I was there, while we were working on it, every couple of days we'd put the batteries on the battery charger, just because we were working with all the electronics, and it just seemed like things were getting drained down. Every night, and whenever I wasn't using the vehicle, I would turn off the master cutoff switch next to the batteries. So that all makes sense until you get to my driving, the last 3 days that I've been driving. So I left Portland with 12.5 volts. The next morning when I left, it was at 12 volts, and I thought, oh, there must have been a drain sometime during the night, or maybe using the headlights, even though I had the master cutoff switch turned off.
So the battery's been draining. So I drove that day, and I noticed at night that it was still around 12 volts. Went to sleep, and this morning I noticed driving up over the pass. I was using the windshield wipers, had my lights on for a half an hour, and now when I look at the voltage meter, it's reading right a little bit above 11 volts, maybe 11.1, 11.2. So this has me thinking that maybe something's happening, because I've been driving for 4 or 5 hours. Shouldn't the alternator be charging the batteries? Unless the batteries are completely dead and not able to take a charge. So I think what I'm going to do is stop at Napa Auto Parts here, where I'm at right now, Napa Auto Parts, and have them check the batteries, both batteries, make sure they're charging, and give me a full charge. So that's two things. I'll get a full charge so I can at least make it into Albuquerque if I have to, and then I'll be able to start up the engine after I shut it down, which is why it's running right now. And then possibly I might have the alternator in stock here, and I might be able to purchase it here. If not, then my intention is to get a full charge on the batteries, drive the rest of the way into Farmington, and hopefully buy a battery there. I'll have them call ahead to see if they can get it in the Napa store there for me to pick up possibly in the morning as I leave there. The question is how to get it installed. I'll either have to get it done in Farmington or possibly in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So that's my plan. I'm going to make a couple of calls just to double check my logic with a couple of my mechanic buddies and see if I've thought this all through and if my diagnostic is correct. In the meantime, I'm going to have these guys check out the batteries. All my tools are down in Austin, Texas, so the gentleman inside at the Napa place is kind enough to loan me his socket set to undo the battery, and then he's going to come out and test it. So I've got to figure out which one of these ratchets, looks like it's this one, this little socket here, which one of these actually takes it off, and then I've got to remove it. I've got the kill switch done, so don't have to worry about that. And then once I have him testing it, then I'll make my phone calls. Alright, I'll go find the guy again. Dean here works at Napa Auto in Cortez. Just absolutely phenomenal guy. If you're ever in Cortez, stop here. I'm not being paid for this, but he's just really great. Came out and did a diagnostic. Both of the batteries are a little low on their cranking power, but they both had 13, over 13, like 13.4 volts. So he said both batteries are fairly healthy, but there's some drain that's happening here. His theory is that the alternator is charging the batteries and that these batteries are healthy. He thinks, however, that there's some parasitic drain elsewhere in the system that's causing these problems. So that's about all I can do at this point. I'm just going to make a couple of phone calls and then get back on the road and try to make it into Farmington.
I'm editing this video and I realized that I did not explain what happened with the batteries. Sometime between the Napa dealership and getting to Farmington, I discovered that the ground cable that went from the switch near the battery to the frame, the body frame, was loose. And it took almost 15 turns to get it just snug and tight, not overly tight, but just normal tight. So it was extremely loose, and once I tightened that up, the voltage jumped from about 11.1 up to almost 13 volts, like 13.1. So it was a 2-volt climb just for tightening up that cable, and everything has been just fabulous with the electronics and with the battery voltage since that time.
I've arrived in Farmington, New Mexico. This is a very long drive today for me. I'm pretty sore and pretty tired. Looking forward to just an evening of relaxing. I'm going to get some dinner and find some internet, answer some emails, do some surfing online, and try to get a good night's sleep so that I can push on tomorrow. It's still pretty cold here. I was really hoping that once I got in New Mexico it'd be a lot warmer. But I think once I hit Albuquerque tomorrow, it'll start warming up quite a bit. I have to say that New Mexico has some spectacular sunsets. I'll show you this sunset and just want to let you know, thanks for watching. Savor the moment. See you next episode. Spectacular.